Well, it looks like the WWE, much like Tina Turner, is going to have life beyond the Thunderdome. I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling vlogger who always tells it like it is. 5 out of 6 for WrestleMania Backlash, not bad. We knew this would happen someday. Some of us just didn't know it would be this soon. Or perhaps some of us hoped it would be this soon, but doubted it would happen. Or some of us were just so used to the way things are that now that this has thrown us for a loop. For the record, count me in among the third group. As reported in many media outlets on Friday, the WWE will be leaving the Thunderdome and going on a 25-city tour from mid-July through Labor Day. This tour will primarily be editions of Raw and SmackDown as well as pay-per-views. In fact, the first non-WrestleMania pay-per-view since last year's Elimination Chamber will be Money in the Bank 2021 on June 20th in Fort Worth, Texas. The filling of a Texas toast sandwich with the SmackDown before it in Houston and the Raw afterwards in Dallas. Those are only the first 3 stops. No word so far as to the others, although some sketchy reports say SummerSlam will take place somewhere in Nevada. Also, no word about whether they will fill the arenas or just have a certain percentage like at Raymond James Stadium last month, or what the crowds can and cannot do once in the arenas. Okay, first things first. You gotta think that Florida Governor and Grand Exalted Poobah of the President Trump Marching and Chowder Club, Ron DeSantis, is livid that the first shows in front of fans, sans WrestleMania, will not be in Florida. After all he did for the WWE, hell, he was the one who kept the WWE from being shut down nearly a year ago. Now, true, it allegedly took a big campaign donation by Mr. McMahon to get the job done and make pro wrestling essential in Florida, but it wouldn't surprise me if DeSantis felt Vince still owed him. If they had only had shows in the AAA in Miami or the BB&T Center outside Fort Lauderdale, or hell, have a live crowd in the Amway Center in Orlando. But no, everything's bigger in Texas, including the crowds, according to the WWE, so after spending 16 months in Florida, they're hightailing it out of there, much to DeSantis' chagrin. Second thing second, I do hope the WWE does this right. Look, I know the end of this is nigh, in this country anyway, but that doesn't mean we should let up. While I'm glad they're giving 2 months' notice so that more and more people can get vaccinated, you have to remember, there are still a lot of people out there who are hardline anti-vax. And with all due respect, Texas is one of the slower states to get vaxxed. Less than half have had at least 1 dose, and just about 1/3 are fully vaccinated right now. 2 months from now, who knows? But if they're not going to limit seating, the very least they can do is, give temperature checks to those coming in. And if they have their CDC cards that show they're fully prodded, then they can just let them in without any issue. If they do limit seating, please make sure folks mask up and keep them on. We are so close to getting everything back to normal. Don't stumble at the finish line. Pardon. Third things third, I am skeptical about them doing this now. But again, there are pluses to this. When they get to Houston, it will have been over 16 months since the WWE shuttered up and kept their universe out of sight. As I've said in the past, regardless of how much Fox, Disney, and NBC Universal are paying the WWE to keep Raw and SmackDown going, you just know that the live crowds have before and always will be the cash cow for the WWE. It's the fans coming in to cheer and jeer the modern-day gladiators, who pay their hard-earned money to just get into the arena, who bring their kids and friends and buy the merchandise fresh off the trucks, who hold up their signs in appreciation for the heroes and villains who risk their necks each week for their entertainment, or who just want to be seen on TV. These are where the bulk of the WWE's income has always come from, and they are not about to shy away from them, especially given how well received WrestleMania was by the crowd. Well, half of WrestleMania anyway. Last things last, going back to live crowds will do absolute wonders for the creative staff. Getting out of the Performance Center and into the Thunderdome was an important first step, with more room, literally, to work with. Having the LED screens with the WWE Universe watching on was nice as well, but there's little doubt that Raw has been buckling since WrestleMania and SmackDown has been thriving. With fans in attendance, cheering on not just the superstars but the storylines as well, the creative staff can work on making stories that actually work for Raw and in keeping the fans from getting bored of awesomeness on SmackDown. Now sure, the lag in Raw's stories might well be due to the creative team being under new management and still adjusting. But much like chickens and AEW thrive on corn, WWE thrives on fans. Give them a legitimate reason to make up good feuds, and by San Martino, they will make them. So, we'll see how things go in 2 months. If COVID numbers don't skyrocket a few weeks after the events, it can be considered a success and the green light to return traveling the country and eventually the world, bringing folks to their feet as they did before March of last year. And at last, the critically acclaimed and award-winning Thunderdome can be torn down. People can stop being faces on a screen via webcam and start being full bodies in the stands again. I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling blogger who always tells it like it is. Stay safe, and I'll see you.